Folks, welcome to your week. It's an all-new So Bad It's Good. It's Monday, so we've got her, the co-host of the hit podcast Snarkbait, and also you can check her out on the third episode of Max's An Update on Our Family, which had its third and final episode this week, which I really love this three-part series. The one, the only, Sophie Ross. Sophie, happy Sunday afternoon, evening.
People are mad at me, by the way, about
the
third
what
episode.
Happened?
Because they don't think I extend enough empathy to the stalkers.
Well, see, if you watch the third episode, Sophie's presented. It's very interesting because Stephanie McNeil, who is a journalist as well, who I've had on the show.
I think Stephanie,
she writes for Glamour now or something, but like she's just great. But I think it also talks about how you are able to talk about celebrities and these things without classic journalistic standards, because all of this is done on Twitter and Reddit and things of that nature. So you have a little bit more freedom and you can add snarkiness into it. So It's a compliment, but at the same time, it is interesting because it's just a different way in this generation or this last couple of years of how people work.
I will just say, from the few people that have DM'd me calling me horrible things, this was also filmed in 2021. This was filmed
Sophie, was it really filmed in 2021?
Long ago. Yes, I told you it was filmed so long ago. We didn't have Baxter yet. Those are my parents' dogs on the fridge.
Oh, that's not Baxter on the fridge?
Yeah, so after watching the documentary along with everyone else, I do have more empathy for them. At the time, I didn't. I was angry at them and upset about Huxley. Anyway, you guys have to watch it. Just please go easy on me. I know I come across as very callous. Just know that this was so soon after the scandal happened, and now with time and being able to watch this documentary myself, I obviously have more empathy for them.
But you bring up this interesting thing that I talk about all the time is that, even there is so much rage bait, but even me, in the heat of Sandoval, I was fucking livid at Sandoval. And I mean, now I'm able to laugh at him on the Traitors and at him, not with him, with the whole country. But, you get into these moments and it's such a different place in time where you can put something out immediately. I can put a podcast out immediately. I can fire off a tweet immediately. And sometimes you are just firing off pure emotions.
Right.
And then what happens is that fire you start that fire and then it just gets taken to another level because everybody else picks up on it. And it's just this giant pool of rage, which is exciting and fun when you talk about reality shows. And then when you talk about actual people, even though reality stars are people, you forget it sometimes. It does as you mature but just as you get more space from it, you do start to have more empathy. It's hard to have that empathy sometimes immediately.
Totally. And obviously what they did, again, if you haven't watched the documentary yet, you might not know what we're referring to. What they did was extremely fucked up. They
adopted a child with developmental disorders from China and then they gave him the name Huxley and then returned him.
Returned him only after exploiting him and making money off of him for several years. I just think
What's her name again? The lady that this is
Micah
about?
Stauffer.
But also, not hats off, but I'm so glad that she just ended her YouTube channel and didn't try to make a comeback, because if this was today, I feel like we see so horrible things like this, but then they're rebrand and they go harder on the internet.
Yeah, I'm happy at least that the kids especially are off social media because they grew up with a camera in their faces. I just think in general, and the documentary touches on this, that family vlogging is inherently unethical and there are no laws regulating it or protecting children, like child actors, for instance, from being taken advantage of. I don't know. It's a whole,
Sophie, what if the government slapped tariffs on family vloggers? Would that do something?
I'm all for it.
if we slap them with a 50% tariff, I'm hearing that could be a thing. Anyways, I'm telling you guys, go check out this 3-part series. It just actually does make you think. It is not some kind of tawdry expose.
Yeah,
it's an actual
deep takedown, and it's not intended to be a takedown.
No, Sophie, I wanted more tawdry. I was like, where is she now? I wanted to know where Micah is now at the end of the 3rd part, but it's really well done. So go check that out. We got a lot to talk about in this next hour, but let's start because it is Grammys night. The Grammys are airing as we speak, and I was just watching red carpet stuff, and I hate to bring this man's name up, but I will say I don't think this did what he wanted it to do. Mr. Kanye West appeared on the Grammys red carpet with his wife, Bianca Censori, and she was just, I mean, we got full vagine, we got boo, we got the whole thing, and I got to tell you, boring. We've seen it. Boring.
Yeah. I also just saw that they were apparently escorted out because
they weren't invited, Sophie. They weren't invited.
I was going to say, how short are our memories that they're now invited to the Grammys? But no, apparently they weren't. They just showed up and they've been escorted out.
How do you ask a nude lady to leave? Like, man, like, where do you just right this way? Like that's. But also, we've seen this. So, like, I've seen Bianca naked.
They cover her with one of those blankets you put on like marathon runners.
I've seen Bianca nude more than I've seen my own self nude. But I will say, like, Kanye, it looks like Jenny Craig is working. It looks like he's slimmed down. So hats off. But it is interesting. Kanye has tried to make more of a comeback in this last weekend. He was tweeting all weekend. He went back on Instagram and he only follows one person, you guys, and it's Taylor Swift. Oh my God, the outrage. It's so like none of this is like even making a blip on my pop culture radar. It's like none of this is doing what I think he wants it to do.
And you guys, it's not like a conspiracy that he spoke against the Jews and now he's being censored and now he's
Did you see one of his tweets yesterday was shalom?
It's just he's boring.
It's like
boring.
What's that word we used to say? It's like chuggy. It's cringy. It's like, dude, like, come on, man. Like
exactly. It's like no one is censoring him. There's not some conspiracy to kind of like squash his career. He just is boring. No one cares anymore. We're bored.
That's what it is. If you go away for a certain amount of time and you've done so many idiotic things, there's an exhaustion level that people get with you. And I think I just hit that place. And by the way, I used to be the number one Kanye. I went to so many of his concerts. I have so much of his merch.
Yeah.
And that really, obviously, those things change over time.
You were even like, I feel like even till his last breath before he disappeared for a while, you were like, yeah, Kanye, like this latest scandal. You were really, but even you are fatigued by it at this point.
Well, because, listen, I think pop culture nowadays, they just, with everything, it is so many avenues, whether it be TikTok, podcasting, there's so many avenues to exhaust you. Like right now, we are in the midst of Baldoni lively exhaustion, which we're going to get to in a second. And I know Snarkbait has just did an episode as well, so we want to promote that. But I want to just do a couple more Grammy things of just the red carpet. Taylor Swift showed up, red dress, you guys, thigh high, and she had a little kind of thigh necklace that has T on it for Travis. And she was wearing Chiefs red.
Yeah.
Hey-o.
Red for the Chiefs.
Where's Travis? Is he not allowed to go because he's in like Super Bowl training?
Yeah, probably. Actually, yeah.
Okay, I didn't see Beyonce walk the red carpet, but I have a feeling they will win. She will win Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter. And by the way, yesterday, Netflix announced Cowboy Carter, the New World Tour with Beyonce. We do not have dates yet. I thought it was going to be announced at the Grammys tonight, but Netflix, it's promoted through Netflix, announced it last night. So prepare to hear something. I wonder if Taylor Swift will drop some kind of Reputation Taylor's version announcement like she did last Grammys. But hopefully she won't.
Swifties, I'm sorry, that sigh that I just let out. I love Taylor. I love her music, but it's like let other people have their night. Let Sabrina Carpenter, let Beyonce, like, that as soon as she announces something, she knows that like that's going to be the headline. It's all about her.
That's my curiosity. Does she go without, because when she won, I think it was Album of the Year, she announced Tortured Poets Department. Right. And that was like this big announcement that not a lot of people expected. So does she do that again tonight, or does she let and I think she's not going to make any announcements tonight. That's my prediction.
Honestly, I think you're right. She would also have to win in order to make an announcement, which I don't think she's favored, at least in the Album of the Year category.
I don't think. By the way, if she wins Album of the Year, I love Tortured Poets Department, but I don't think that's her year. I think Beyonce and Jay-Z would lose their minds. And by the way, Beyonce and Taylor really support each other, so I think Taylor's good with not winning this year. But what if Taylor wins something and then she just announces she's directing the sequel to It Ends With Us? With Blake, her friend.
Stop. I fucking can't. I can't.
Okay, wait.
I finally watched it this weekend.
Okay.
It took me 7 hours to get through, by the way. Like I
so
fell
average.
At one point, it's
so
oh
average.
my God. First of all, it's 2 hours long.
And Sophie, you famously like bad movies. I thought you would love it.
I do famously like bad movies. I have terrible taste in movies. I remember I fell asleep at one point, kept watching it. Hour mark. I paused it at one point. We were 57 minutes in. Nothing had happened. Literally nothing happens. Nothing happens.
What is that? Wait. So Henry stayed awake for the whole thing?
He joined like the second half and he was like, wait. He was like, why is his name Atlas? And I was like, I don't know. Lily Blossom Bloom? Atlas?
One of the characters' name is Renesmee and it ends with us. So
guys, also and I know that this is part, again, like Ryan said, we just recorded a Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively episode that's coming out tomorrow on Snarkbait. I'm sorry, and I know that this is a big part of the lawsuit and the conversations around it, the wardrobe, how Blake takes over the wardrobe styling. I know that you're a guy. Did you notice how distractingly bad the outfits were?
Yeah, of course. But listen, I was like, but in my actor head, I was like, well, that's a character choice that this girl doesn't know how to dress herself. Because I was like, it's not Britney Spears-esque, but how Britney Spears back in the day, she didn't really, and still to this day, she had a very specific style that wasn't really considered stylish.
Even Brittany wouldn't wear this.
Have you seen that guy on TikTok? Have you seen that guy on TikTok that does the Blake Lively imitations? It's so, this guy is so good at it. It's so good at it.
What does it add to the character that she
wears
is
Carhartt?
Always wearing a fuck ass bowling shirt? What does that add to the character?
Well, listen, I feel that's what it's like. I try to impress upon the people at home how actors can get is that it's not you'll be like, Daniel Day-Lewis would be like, I need to wear Lincoln's shoes. I'm going to be so in character that I am Abraham Lincoln. People don't understand. And by the way, Daniel Day-Lewis is so talented that it actually helps him. But then other actors think they can do it. I need to know, this is what Lily Bloom would
Daniel
be wearing.
Day-Lewis is like, I need to wear fishnets and glitter boots.
Yes. By the way, Daniel Day-Lewis would have elevated it ends with us so much. But the thing is, that's what's so funny is that we are talking so much about Blake Lively Baldoni that we've completely forgotten that the movie was kind of average. It was still a hit. It was still a worldwide hit. And so this weekend, big news happened was that this was threatened and it finally went live at the lawsuitinfo.com. Brian Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, they released a website with the amended complaint that just got they're dropping these Kendrick Lamar, Drake diss tracks. You got the amended complaint and then you have a timeline of relevant events. All total, it's more page count than it ends with us. And it is more gripping, more shocking. It reads like a Pulp Fiction novel. And listen, you did an episode. I'm doing an episode this week just because I can't make it my whole show every day because I find it kind of at a point overkill. But we're going to the trial's not until March of 2026, Sophie. We have to deal with this bullshit for the next year?
I can't get enough, honestly.
Really? Sophie,
I know
really?
that a lot of people, speaking of getting fatigued, I know a lot of people are fatigued by the drama around this movie. I cannot get enough. I'm obsessed with it. I think that it's so fascinating how you have 2-3 people, if you're counting Ryan Reynolds, that are tanking their careers for the sake of destroying the other person. They're trying to tear down the other person, but it's a kamikaze mission.
So no. And that, I found this fascinating at the end of December. The fact, though, it just boggles me, the egos involved. And if you read this amended complaint in the timeline of events, if you had just read the Lively complaint at the end of December and the New York Times article, I was like, oh shit, Baldoni, bad news. And then you read all of this information out, and I'm talking buckets full of information, text messages, emails, text messages between Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds, everybody circle jerking each other. Shout out Salt Lake City. And then, all of this information and you realize, oh dude, Baldoni, It looks really bad for Lively and Reynolds. And
Yeah.
the gag order hearing happens this week. But the gag order is too late. They've already released every piece of information you could want on this case. I don't know what else you could drop. So I don't know where you go from here or how Lively and Reynolds even fight this to begin with. Like, do they settle? Like, where does this go? Because point blank, Lively's career is toast for the next 3 years. Toast.
I feel, like you said, I feel manipulated myself, honestly. Like, I feel gaslit by everything. Like, the way that it's kind of been a pendulum, I feel like,
Yes.
in August during the press tour. And again, I feel like a lot in the lawsuit says this too, that the bad press for the most part was self-inflicted. It was the things that Blake herself was saying and doing during the press tour. And of course, in December, when she has the New York Times expose and files her complaint, the pendulum swung and everyone was like, oh my God, like I felt terrible for taking Justin Baldoni's side. I felt terrible for talking shit about her, flippant response about domestic violence survivors on Twitter. Like, I felt so bad and I feel manipulated because, again, I think that it was intentional. And I know that you touched on this on your episode with Lauren from Pop Apologist.
Yeah.
And I listened to Pop Apologist episode also. I think it was obviously intentional that Blake filed a CRD, Civil Rights Department complaint, instead of a lawsuit because there's no discovery phase. You don't have to present any sort of evidence. And not saying that, there should be some huge burden of proof when you're accusing someone of sexual harassment, but every line item that she mentioned in her complaint was debunked by actual context that was intentionally left out. And I think that both Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds being sued for $400 million, Justin Baldoni's also suing the New York Times.
And by the way, the New York Times, I hate to say, they obviously, there was all of this stuff you can look into the pictures. There was metadata saying they gave him
12 hours to respond.
They didn't give Baldoni enough time to respond. So this piece was already in the works, obviously. And they didn't give him chance to. And I just think, not a rookie move, but I wonder even what the New York Times was thinking, because he actually does have a case against the New York Times now as well. And also just remember, how can one man afford this? But I will say Wayfair does have deep pockets. They have a billionaire as one of their investors that I believe is bankrolling this entire thing. So that's why you are seeing this full court press, because there are deep pockets that are supporting Baldoni. And I just think this has turned into such a mess, obviously, for Reynolds and Lively, but I just keep thinking, so Lively, how it reads right now is that everybody's excited to do the project. Blake gets hired, a lot of ass-kissy text messages happen, and then within the span of a couple months before the filming starts, they try to Lively and Ryan Reynolds, to a degree, try to kind of swoop in and take over the movie in the sense of creativity. I want to rewrite this scene. I want to do
everything,
this. I want to
not
do this.
just the wardrobe department. Screenwriting, literally the screenplay, editing, the fucking music composition, directing, getting the dailies, the raw footage, literally every
she wanted in on
of
everything.
Yes.
And I will say, this is this is normal behavior for a movie star, superstar. You'll hear this with certain things. This is not the first time that actors try to insert their, their power. Lively is not at a place where she can do that. Now, Ryan Reynolds is at a place where he can be in control of Deadpool Wolverine. Sean Levy directed that, but he was in deep control of that movie. They worked together, they collaborated, but Ryan was every step of the way. Lively is not Ryan Reynolds. And I think being around Reynolds and maybe even potentially Taylor Swift, who keeps getting dragged into this.
Her dragons.
Yeah, her dragons. By the way, and that I love in the thing they have to keep redacting Taylor Swift's name, but I would not be comfortable if somebody was dropping my name like that in conversations with other people. That is, I feel
someone weaponizing your friendship in order to get her way. Because another part of this is, well, if you don't agree to my demands, then I might not ask Taylor anymore if we can use My Tears Ricochet for the trailer and the movie. She was leveraging her friendship with Taylor as a bargaining chip.
But then also saying that Taylor comes to me for like tons of, questions about her own career and I help her. Like, wouldn't it be great if Taylor Swift was at the Grammys in like Lily Bloom wear, like Carhartt and like, oh my God, I went to Blake, she helped me. No, it looks really bad for Blake Lively at this point. So this is why it's hard, because when you talk about these things, you just have the information at hand, but more and more information comes out. I just don't know how Reynolds and Lively get out of this. But already they've lost. I would say it's a good 80% of public opinion right now is swinging towards Baldoni. And I just wonder then how legally this works. You'd have to have a legal expert to say, what are the damages? Would Baldoni even be willing to settle at this point? And settling, you've then damaged Ryan Reynolds' career. I mean, they've damaged it themselves, but you know what I'm saying? Like if they settle, then like, are they going to keep doubling down? My prediction is Lively and Reynolds are going to keep doubling down and keep doubling down.
I think so too. I don't think if they haven't stopped so far, like it's gone really far, probably way farther than either of them intended it to go. I don't see them backing down anytime soon. Like, I don't think their egos will allow it.
But I will say on both sides, the text messaging between all of them, just cringy on all levels. But that's these creative endeavors. You're so excited and you're like kissing everybody's ass on both sides. And I wonder what it was, Sophie, what was the turn? Like what was the turning point where they went from yay, yay, yay to I don't like you, I'm not coming back to set? What was the turning point event? And then what was the decision after the movie was released to, we're going to file a complaint? What were those two moments? And that's what I want to hear, and I will never hear it honestly from Lively.
It sounds like it was the rooftop, the iconic rooftop scene. It sounds like it was it's like she was calling it.
See what's so funny? If you watch the movie, it's like, this is what you're fighting over? This?
It's not iconic. Also, she described it as iconic, like on the red carpet when she was talking about Ryan Reynolds rewrote it on the red carpet before it had even like come out. How is it iconic? If like it's iconic to who? Like,
but by the way, it
hasn't come out yet.
Sophie's talking about a moment that was like she dropped on the red carpet that Ryan Reynolds wrote it when we have all these emails saying she rewrote it. And then the studio, even Sony got involved going, whoa, we saw this clip. If Ryan Reynolds wrote something, we've got to act. We don't have any contracts in place. Yeah. This is not like, they got panicked at that point when Lively just dropped that on the red carpet, which is so like, so if you're going to do this, why, if you're going to lie or do something like this, like have your ducks in a row. Like how are they so sloppy then?
Exactly. It was very sloppy, but I think it was that the rewrites that she tried to do for the iconic rooftop scene. And then Justin Baldoni was like, yeah, I love your passion. He was like, we'll see, I think it'll be good like stuff. A combination. Yeah. He was like, I think it'll be a combination of some of your rewrites and then some of the original, writing. And I don't think she liked that. I think that she wanted, I think that they got so worn down throughout the entire process that they started just saying, yes, Blake, whatever you want, Blake.
Yeah, and that's what happens.
Even so far as using her final cut of the movie.
Well, listen, Baldoni at that point, he's not a seasoned director of multiple films under his belt. And once you start a relationship that is so like hand jobby, sorry, I keep saying hand jobby, guys, but hand jobby on both sides.
So circle jerky.
You're so locked into that you then can't like assert going, this is my movie. You'll do what I have to, you'll do what I tell you to do.
Yes.
I'm sorry it has to be this way, but just do it how I wrote it. You have to eventually get to that point sometimes, especially when you're dealing with movie stars and actors, and he was never, I don't think, comfortable because he was always coming from the nice guy angle. So I think he shot himself in the foot, but that's not a crime at all. But I think they really got annoyed with it at a certain point.
And also it's like, just think about anyone going up against this A-list power couple and their dragon Taylor Swift. Like, you're gonna feel intimidated. You're gonna feel like, I need to listen to what they say, and even Blake in those texts saying, these are my dragons. Like, it was kind of like a thinly veiled threat.
Yeah. By the way, you're like, listen, if I went to a room with Taylor Swift, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, whatever, Ryan Reynolds, whatever. But if Taylor Swift was like, you know what, Ryan, I've been thinking, I think you should try to suck your own dick. I'd be like, damn, you know what? I've never even thought about that, but like, I respect Taylor so much. I'd be like, you know what? I should start stretching more, and I would love, I should try. Like, if Taylor Swift, like, that's how poisoned I am, that like, that's a really big superstar, and you have a lot of emotions, and this person has done so well with their career that it is hard not to get sucked up in the vacuum of that.
They'd be like, Sophie, you should kill yourself. And I'd be like, where's the bleach?
Yeah, by the way, I believe in an afterlife, I'll see my family and friends there, so that would be good. I'd go out a hero. Like, it is that kind of weird pressure, and that's why you have to have
the power dynamic. And then I think the turning point in terms of, I think that she was laying the groundwork for filing this complaint after the SAG-AFTRA strike ended. And she said, here are all the things you can no longer do. Refer to me as sexy, even though, in Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, he says she called herself sexy. And those don't show me any more pornography. It was like a video of a home birth to show as an example for the.
It was just Bianca Sensori pictures again. Yeah, stop showing me Bianca Sensori pictures.
So I think she was laying the groundwork, but I think when the tides really turned on her during the promotional tour in August, because of the things she was saying and also promoting her hair care line, and just the tides were turning. I think that's when they were like, okay, we need to like fire back and get the public back on our side.
See, this is what I also think. I think she truly does believe that there were like a PR campaign waged against her. I think she still believes that. And I think there would have been, but I think in those original documents that obviously, they cut things out. It's not, contextual. But I think, I think people just, like we talked about at the beginning, it just started a fire and just people went with it. And there was enough shit about Lively in interviews that you could make her look bad pretty easily. And I think she was livid about that. I think that hit her right in the ego. And I think potentially that's then the decision making of no, screw that. Because if she had just kept quiet, and we actually don't, like, if something happens to you as a woman, especially, you don't want to keep quiet. If something is real, but you actually want to have trusted people around you, you could also say this with Bryn with Real Housewives in New York, but if she had just kept quiet, she would be able to direct her own film one day. This was a hit, guys. She's a bona fide hit out of this movie that she is the star of. So I just don't think they thought 10 steps down the line, and that's my biggest question of this whole thing, and also then what happens from this point. But also, I love all the content creators, myself included, you included. I only dip in and out here and there, but like, I mean, if people are reporting on it like it's like Vietnam, like wartime correspondence. Like,
it is.
We're here on the 30th day of Baldoni Lively. We've got some more update.
Or like helicopters in the background.
Just stop. Like, literally, Los Angeles is burning down. There's like flames in the background. We've got a new update on Baldoni Lively.
Hey Blake, it's me, Justin.
By the way,
we're gonna make some magic.
I just got to tell you, I'm so sorry. I know there's a
by
baby.
The way,
there's a baby on your tit right now. I know. But also, I got that wrong. I didn't realize that Blake had texted him 20 minutes earlier, and he was responding to that. Because I said that, so he was running that.
There's so much context missing.
But also, why can't you? But also, still, Justin, listen. Everything's looking good for you so far. Why not just text back? Why do you got to leave the voice note?
Yeah,
why do you got to leave the voice note, man? Hey,
do you buy?
What's going on? Hey, Blake,
Justin.
It's me, JB.
Do you buy into, and I know that these are just like fanfic theories, especially coming from, and by the way, you guys,
the crush,
can we not normalize like Candace Owens? Like this is how people fall into
Wait, are you saying you want to normalize Candace Owens?
No, I'm saying
okay. I was like, no.
You guys, Candace Owens is a Holocaust denier, horrible person for many, 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 many reasons. She is evil. I don't care if she's making quote unquote good points about this.
You don't get to pivot into pop culture. Not to stay in your lane, but I know you have like some good tea.
This is how it happens because people are going to follow her now for her like Justin and Blake stuff. And then they're going to think it's normal when she comes out and says, let's just like, don't stop at the Mexicans. Like, why not the Jews? Why
not the pop culture podcasters? We're going to be out.
Why not the podcasters? Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, what she's referring to, you guys, is Candace Owens had some like information and she's been doing Baldoni Lively updates all of a sudden. And by the way, like she is such an effective communicator, like she does so you're like, wow, this person really knows what they're thinking. And sometimes you forget that like what she is saying is just so completely hateful. And like, so it's just wild, but she's so good at it. So I want to also acknowledge that she is like the package that she has created for herself is so powerful. It is just wild to see her dipping her toes into this.
Exactly. It's like concerning. But anyway, she's been pushing a theory that, Ryan Reynolds is behind a lot of this and that he was jealous of the relationship that Justin Baldoni and Taylor Swift that Blake were having. And that, when she asked for the dailies, it was really Ryan Reynolds trying to like see the raw footage of how they were interacting together. Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, if they were all working together in that close of quarters, like, Reynolds was hard at work on Deadpool and Wolverine, so he gets to see his dailies every day, even though Sean Levy's the director. So that's the way he's used to working. Blake sees that. Also, Blake sees, if we're going to use Taylor, is like Blake sees how involved she is at every step in that every step creativity wise. So Blake thinks she deserves that as well. I should be seeing my dailies. That's how they work. I should be working at that same level. This is just a guess, you guys. But yeah, I could see that there is a way in which also I think Reynolds is so confident in his work. And by the way, there's proven box office results that like, I know how to make a hit movie. I know how to advertise a hit movie. He also has his own advertising company, Mint Mobile, all of this stuff. So I think there is this element of, well, I'm part of this team. I'm your wife and I'm part of this. I'm part of your team. So I should be doing this on this movie as well. I think psychologically there's some, that makes a little sense.
It actually is hilarious that they were trying to turn it into like a Barbenheimer moment.
I know, God.
Like
what? Because Deadpool, Wolverine, and It Ends With Us came out very the same weekend, right? So
it's like it's not weird. A Barbie movie. It's a movie about domestic violence.
Well, the last thing I will say about this before we move on to other things, because this was the other thing that came out this weekend, and this was just one, is that there was a statement Blake Lively allegedly wrote for him, Baldoni, to take accountability for the bad press. And this is what I found just really bizarre. I'm trying to find the statement.
Oh my God. I have it. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane. So this was a statement that Ryan Reynolds and Blake had like written up and told Justin Baldoni to say on August 12th, 2024. Statement prepared by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds on behalf of Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair. It Ends With Us was a troubled production, which we take full accountability for. We are very sorry to everyone we caused upset to privately and publicly. Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover, the entire cast and crew led with professionalism every step of the way. Any negativity aimed at them is ours to own. We mutually agreed that the cast would be promoting the film separately and understood why. We've always said we are not perfect, and even if unintentionally make mistakes, we will always own them. We hold ourselves accountable. It's not anyone's job but ours, and that's part of being quote unquote man enough, which is the name of Justin Baldoni's like feminist podcast.
So allegedly they wrote this for Baldoni to put out. He never put it out.
Yeah. We will practice what we preach. We are learning and growing from the experience. And we thank everyone for their patience as we find a better way to proceed. We are very proud of the film and the welcome arms that it's been received. Part of our work is to have uncomfortable conversations for public growth. The film is doing that on screen and we are doing that off screen. Thank you to the cast, crew, and public for the opportunity to be imperfect and to be given the space to learn and grow with humanity and dedication. It's just like, it's
Dude,
insane.
If there's any statement that needs to be put out is like, sorry, this wasn't a good movie. Like, sorry, This wasn't like, hey, sorry.
Apologize to us for making us watch this.
But by the way, that's how insane is that. And by the way, you can already see the 4-part Max docu-series that'll be out about this case next year.
Hulu
the ID Discovery, the Hulu. Yeah, everybody.
Wait, Hulu already has, you guys. I watched it today.
How was it?
It was good. I mean, it's like, the information that we already kind of know.
But see, this is we're going to get like these leaks or like news drops on this for like the next year. I just don't know. I don't know, you guys. Anyway, so we'll be talking. Go to Snarkbait, listen to that episode. I'll have an episode about it this week as well. I think on at some point this week. So let's get into something fun that we can all be angry about together. Did you see that Brianna Chicken Fry potentially made out with Wes Wilson from Summer House this weekend?
Oh my God, no. Ew.
Yeah, so they went out, and Wes Wilson, obviously from Summer House, the one that kind of screwed over Sierra a little bit. And we know he's dirty, likes butt stuff, according to Sophie and Reddit.
Yeah, yes.
Allegedly. I don't want another Lively Baldoni thing against this podcast and Wes Wilson. But Brianna Chicken Fry went, like, they were like posting together and all this stuff. And then Brianna Chicken Fry is the next, she's like, oh my God, I made out in public last night. Oh my God. But it was kind of fun. And if you put two and two together, that's got to be Wes Wilson. Because we know our boy, dude. That guy's a dog, dude. And he has that kind of Zach Bryan look. He has that kind of dirty Zach Bryan look.
Yeah, short and blonde and just short and stocky.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like, can you, Brianna Chicken Fry?
Ew, I hate that. Ugh.
So I thought that was interesting news. But Wes Wilson really getting out there because Summer House premieres February 12th. So you'll see the cast start doing press for this. And it'll be interesting because, we are still in, I don't know, week 5 of Craig and Paige breaking up. And it is still this little story. Like Austin Kroll was on Watch What Happens Live this week. And he said, well, listen, it's not a rumor. I mean, she is dating somebody else. And Paige kind of fired back and said, oh, a man that I haven't talked to or seen in 6 months is going to have an opinion on what I do. Okay. Very Paige. But Joe D'Amelio,
she didn't deny it.
No. It's all. By the way, it's all true. Joe D'Amelio. By the way, Dumas says they were spotted at Zero Bond this weekend in New York,
and they were together on New Year's. They were at the Eagles game, and they were apparently in Miami together.
And he was at the Giggly Squad show at Radio City Music Hall. Allegedly.
Right. So, it's not a denial. I think that it's like people being like, well, what does Austin know? And it's like, well, I think. We know.
Yeah, guys. But also, once again, just to remind you, two things can be true at once. We can also feel bad for Craig because we realize he's probably really hurting in his feelings, even though he's now on Raya. And we can also say Paige did nothing wrong. Yes. Yeah. Is it potentially a little cold-hearted to pick up with another man pretty quickly after? Of course, but that's her right. That's her freedom. That's it. I think
the question is, was there overlap? In which case, once again, whatever. If there's overlap, I'm sorry, it's not great, but who cares?
But
honestly.
By the way, the Bravo audience needs to detective work if there was overlap. Why can't we just let this one kind of go? I talked about this on the Patreon today. Is that with Paige, you gotta get the sense of. Her work, I think, is what drives her. I think that's what she loves. She loves being a part of a reality show in a sense, and the podcast and the fashion, and that's what drives her. And certain people, they're not all in their feelings all the time about somebody else, where I think Craig is at a point in his life where he's like, goo goo gaga, I love you so much. I want to put a baby in me.
Yeah, he wants a family.
He really wants that. And I think Paige is more kind of career driven. And yeah, of course she likes to flirt and potentially have sex and do all of these things. But all of a sudden she's got this dude and the years are passing and she doesn't want to get married. She doesn't want to have a kid. And he's like, how long do I have to give you? And it's on TV on top of that. It is becoming obvious that she did have to cut him loose and she's probably out there having a blast. Unfortunately, she is now having to deal with all the Bravo people's opinions.
Well, and all the people being like, she strung him along. She knew. It's no, you date someone to find out whether you want to settle down with them. Sometimes it takes, couple months. Sometimes it takes several years. Either get married or you break up. And in this case, they broke up. Who cares? Well, but what did you think of, did you see Amanda Batula and Kyle? They did an interview.
Yeah, I think it was a Page 6 interview. Explain to the audience what.
And basically Amanda was like, I think it's really weird that Craig hasn't come out to defend Paige against the cheating rumors. And it's why would Craig?
See, I saw.
Are you insane?
I love Amanda and I really appreciate Kyle, but I will say I read that and I was like, wait, what? Why would Craig, Craig obviously is, I would assume just watching Craig on television, he is probably rocked, even though he won't show it in the way. Why would Craig then have to continually make videos of hey man, Paige is awesome. Where, in what world?
And I fucking hate Craig. Everyone knows I hate Craig. Craig did nothing wrong in all of this. Like, he does not need to come out and defend Paige against the cheating rumors when it's becoming more and more obvious that they may have been true, as Austin alluded to on Watch What Happens Live, or Watch What Happens Live. It's just, I don't know.
It's like when Lala, it's like when Lala told Ariana last season of Vanderpump Rules of, Scheana's taking a lot of heat right now. You need to at least say something on social media. And it's like, wait, why does Ariana have to say something to get heat? Like, it is so bizarre when you get to this point. Like, and by the way, what they're talking about is a very real thing, is that, like, yeah, when you're on TV, a lot of people come for you, a lot of people love you, and then they hate you. It's really intense. Like, we deal with like the smallest fraction of that just doing the shows that we do. But like, in that, it is, people are so comfortable to just call you the fucking asshole and you should die and your family should die. It's really insane. But it's also insane to say that Craig needs to defend Paige at this point. Because, by the way, if there's not a person that can defend themselves better than Paige, it's Paige. Like, Paige is so good at defending herself.
She can handle herself. Like, shut up, Amanda. Focus on your own fucking relationship. I'm sorry,
no, you don't need to go that hard on Amanda's.
I don't even like Craig. Everyone knows I hate Craig, but I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? I'm sorry, it just like annoyed me. I'm like, focus on your own shit. As if we haven't watched their relationship and all of its, you know. I know. I'm sorry.
No, I know. Well, it is just funny though. And it's like, it's that classic reality show thing. They've broken up and now we have to watch the rest of the season of Southern Charm where Paige pops back up. Then Summer House where Craig pops back up and they have spritzer wars, remember, between Kyle and Craig. And so we have to watch all of this stuff. We'll probably have to see 3 or 4 more uncomfortable conversations between them about where they're going in their future. And each time we'll watch it going, oh
wait, I guess Kyle said maybe it was the Golden Crappies that there was an extra episode filmed that they maybe picked cameras back up.
No, well, Austin revealed on Chicks in the Office that they picked back up cameras for Southern Charm. So Austin and Shep and Craig have a scene talking about the breakup.
I'm sure Shep was like just on cloud 9. And Austin
was like, brothers, let's put our dicks out and touch the tips as brothers. We're all in the same boat. Wait, did you go to the Golden Crappies?
No.
Do you watch What Crappens at the Golden Crappies? You can still stream it. I didn't get to stream it yet, but I love those guys so much. Star-studded. But I will say, I bet both of them pick back up cameras. And I'm, you know what I want? I want a moment where Carl Radke tells Craig, can I get a hug? Can I get a hug? Like he did with Lindsay. Can I get a hug?
You look great, by the way.
You look
tighter. Tighter.
Sorry.
Put your weight on me.
Sorry. This is so horrible. Okay. But the whole point is Sophie is saying also, with the Paige thing, she might be a little cold. It might not be like we like, even though a lot of people hate Craig, a lot of people love Craig. So it's always a bummer. We deal with this in real life. It's sad when people break up. But what Sophie's saying is that you date people and you were with them for years to see if things work out. And in this case, it didn't.
And sometimes they don't. Like the people being like, she strung him along. Like it took her, that amount of time to figure out that he wasn't the one for her. And that's okay. Like that's
some
life.
Some people get married still trying to figure it out. Yeah. I will say this, and I don't think Sophie will I don't think she'll be upset that I'm sharing this, but at her wedding, like one of the speeches, she was like, listen, I still don't know if this is the one, but we're doing this tonight and we want to have a great
In my
time.
vows.
In your vows. And you also said in your vows, I hate Craig. And I don't even know where that came from.
Yeah.
That was just out of the blue,
I was like, stream Snarkbait. Stream our Craig episode.
and then I stood up and it was like, when did somebody object? And I said, also stream so bad it's good. I was like, I don't have an objection, but I was like, if you're going to promote a pod, I would like to also promote this pod. It really brought the whole mood down of the whole thing at that point. Okay, so another news story. We've got Summer.
And the rabbi was like, Oppa.
Yeah, and the rabbi was like, I'm Greek. I also have a podcast. Oh my God, I went to my urologist a couple months ago, and my urologist has a podcast. And I was like, Jesus God.
Oh my God, what's it about?
Urology? Yeah, it's like but then I was
everyone has a podcast.
But then I was like, you should pivot to talking about pop culture at some point. Okay, a couple of other things. Oh, this is like a really
He charts on the comedy charts.
Yeah, he's like, this guy's the new Rogan out there. Okay, so this was a TMZ story, and it just made me livid. Diddy obviously is in, jail right now. He's not getting bail. Bail's been denied until trial again and again. He got taken out of jail last night because he had knee issues. His knee was bothering him. But my knee bothers me every fucking day of my life. This guy is getting better medical. I mean, obviously he's in prison. I get it. But he gets to just be taken out, to get his knee checked out in the middle of the night.
I'm not gonna make a joke about his knees being on his knees.
I'm not. I didn't even. The floors in that prison are so hard on the knees. You got. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
They're putting him to work. No, I'm not. It's not funny, you guys. It's not funny.
I didn't even think about that. Okay. That's whole.
I'm sorry. Horrible. That was not funny, you guys. I just thought it was obvious. I just wanted to get ahead of it. But it's not funny.
Yeah. Okay, do not cancel Sophie this week. We had some good news. We got the trailer for the new season of The White Lotus season 3 this week, which premieres, I think, February 16th, if I'm not mistaken. We also got the trailer for the new TLC reality series, The Baldwins, with Alec Baldwin and Hilaria.
And no accent.
Well, she had a tiny bit of an accent I caught in one scene, but for the most part, she does seem like Hillary from Boston.
Yeah, she's just talking like a regular person from Boston.
Do you think obviously this is going to be a kind of a puff piece reality series or they wouldn't agree to it. Or do you think we will potentially get to see one scene where Alex gets raving mad like we know he does, and we'll hear a door shut and there'll be an off mic moment or a off camera mic moment?
I mean, did he get the dailies? Did he get the producer credit? We don't know.
Well, what if we get Real Housewives of Miami of Baldwin just talking to his friend Steve Martin or something like that of I'm not going to stay with this lady. I'm not going to stay with this lady. I'm
going to be single soon.
I'm going to be single soon. And then we get a call then we get a Alec voice noting Blake Lively into it. Hey, Blake, it's me, AB, Alec Baldwin. I was just talking about creativity. So those are coming up to both watch in February. So it's going to be a loaded February.
Oh my God.
Salt Lake reunion, second part of the reunion. I do want to prepare people. I know it's been a sad January, but we're going to have to deal with some sadness on Wednesday because Salt Lake goes away after this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Fantastic reunion so far. What did you think of the second part?
It was obviously really sad. A lot of it was focused on Mary.
But did you see Meredith's reaction shots every time? Everybody's crying about Mary and her son, and then every time they did a reaction shot of Meredith, she was like,
I can relate to that though. I never get emotional when it's appropriate. And then when it's not appropriate, that's when I burst into tears. So I can relate to that. But Meredith and Mary seem to have, a good friendship going. I don't think that, is saying anything about their relationship because you saw they really have a strong relationship.
Yeah, Mary Cosby goes, I love you, Meredith.
Yeah.
Get up here. Give me a hug. And then she turns to Angie and goes, you got to figure it out with this one. You got to figure it out with this one, Angie. And Angie goes, that's why we're here. That's why we're here, I thought.
Mary's not happy that her besties are beefing. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting that, what's the story, Bronwyn, about Todd's emotional affair?
But also, do you think Todd, Todd says, I haven't watched any of the episodes. Do you think Todd found out in that moment that she said Gwendolyn, the daughter, was the one that found out? Because he seemed surprised.
It's possible.
Or maybe
it's possible.
I
thought the same thing. It's definitely possible. I don't know. I don't know what to believe with Bronwyn. I love Bronwyn.
But she lied about the jewelry.
She's got
to be more on point with this kind of.
I think that she has kind of a flexible relationship with the truth. I still love her. I was still team that couch, honestly. Lisa and Heather couch, not doing it for me.
Dude, they were all just railroading each other on that couch, just talking over each other. And it was entertaining, but it was so funny. All three of Meredith, Heather, and what did you think of the guys? And I thought they were going to make more of a moment of Seth having a side chick in Ohio because of the trailer. And then it was just my only side chick is my hands. I whack off all the time, Andy. That was the only, I thought it was going to be a bigger moment and it was just thrown away. And then Meredith Meredith at the end when she was I've been called psychotic, barbaric, when she listed off all the things, Meredith was coming alive. And then the moment when she was talking about Angie K of you did this, pull the clip, pull the clip. And Andy's like, we have somebody in the control room that, like, the control room's like, just tell her we'll pull the clip. Like, we're not fucking doing that. We're just focusing on the, like, shots. And he's like, I will not continue if you do not pull the clip. Oh my God,
it was so stupid. It was like, no one even gives a fuck about this.
It was so funny. It was so funny.
Stupid. But yeah, she was like gonna storm off because of that. I was like, okay, Meredith. But what about John Barlow in like the Todd father? He was like going against the Todd father.
Watch how you're speaking. No, you watch how you're speaking. Like, but then I kind of like forgot, like John and Justin kind of got into it earlier, and then they like bonded over like smashed taters. Like maybe John does have a little bit of a anger-ish. Like, does John have a little bit of a reactionary issue?
I don't know.
Or does Lisa just get herself in trouble all the time?
You can tell there's a lot of testosterone with John.
So huge testicles on this man.
Yeah,
huge.
I mean, he can pull it off.
Do you think housewives realize that that sometimes we just find all of this really funny, or do you think they think we take this deadly serious?
I feel like that's why they're so funny. Because they act like it's so serious. Like, they take it so seriously.
I sometimes don't know if they know how fun. Like, I know Whitney, because Whitney cracks up in every scene she's in now. She's like the Jimmy Fallon of Salt Lake.
Yeah.
She cracks up mid-scene all the time because she realizes, like, she's watching a TV show too. But, like, some of them I don't think realize that, like, we do take it seriously, but we also laugh at how ridiculous it is. And I don't know if I want to let them know how funny it is.
Yeah, because as soon as they're in on the joke, it's like it's not funny anymore.
Yeah. It's like Kanye saying shalom, like the bit's over.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah.
So we got the third part of the reunion. I will say, Watch What Happens Live, Mary Cosby was on with Chloe Finebrand from SNL. And it was so weird. If you watch this Watch What Happens Live, I keep thinking about it because Chloe was all over. She was just so fidgety, but also her housewives opinions were so weird to me. Like, it was just so against.
I didn't watch it. What was she saying?
Well, they were like, who would you like to see more of on New York? And she was like, Rebecca Minkoff. And I was like, really? But then I was like, oh, Rebecca's a Scientologist and Chloe's a Scientologist. So maybe that, but it was just, and then she said she doesn't like Bronwyn. She doesn't like Brittany Bateman. And I was like, okay. So it takes, like, we all have different opinions on housewives.
Every tongue that rises against Brittany Bateman shall fall. Oh, did you hear that her and Jared Osmond broke up again?
Shut up. No, because they were just out. They were just out a couple nights ago. Somebody sent me a clip of them out and about on town.
They apparently broke up again, according to, I don't know where I read this today. So.
Oh my God, it feels like we're still in January. That's January news. That probably happened in January. That's just another bad, but that's good if we see, like, help her get over her heartache in the new season. I hear she's still just a friend of. She's not going to be full time. And that was the other thing Mary Cosby said at Watch What Happens Live was she said, I told Lisa to just don't come at Bronwyn because, like, it was kind of alluding to Bronwyn will hang herself. Kind of like Bronwyn is going to, like, you just let Bronwyn get caught up in her own stuff.
She kind of did.
Yeah. So also this week, Wednesday night, we have the premiere of Kardashians. Who gives a shit? Like, have you ever had less promotion for a season of the Kardashians than this season?
No, I haven't seen, like, a single person talk about it, honestly.
Yeah, it's me, Bobby Dylan. I'm loving the Kardashians. Yeah, I love it. That's my Timothy Chalamet, Bob Dylan.
Oh, that's your...
Hey, what's going on? Hey, Pete Seeger, I'm loving what you're doing with the gay. I'm here to see Woody Guthrie. Yeah, I'm a big fan of yours too, Pete. I'm a big fan of yours too, Pete. Have you met my girlfriend Kylie Jenner with the big inflatable boobies? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Why? Okay, but why? Why did Bob Dylan talk like that? He's from Minnesota.
But see, that's the great thing about Bob Dylan was he kind of made up his history. He, like, lied to everybody about, he was like, my family's a circus people. Like, he would always just lie and make up things. So I love that, like, it's like a complete unknown. He kind of made up this persona of who he was, and he was able, like, by the way, go and, like, do yourself a favor and look at clips from, like, the 80s of Bob Dylan doing interviews. And there's, like, an interview with the girl that he used to sing with who's in the movie, the The one that got Oscar nominated, Joan Baez. And they have this like awkward clip. You know, they were in this romantic relationship, and then Bob Dylan got married. He's like, and Joan Baez was like, yeah, and then you went and got married, and you didn't tell me. He's like, well, you got to do it the hot, the hot. You can't be thinking from the hot. The head's gonna fuck you up. Like it was like gibberish, but Joan Baez was like. It was like Mary Cosby speaking with herself. It was like two things that didn't make sense, but they all like act. Anyways, it's
there are
really
40
great.
people in that room, and everyone wants me to be someone else.
I love. Also, I watched Anora this weekend. I really liked Anora. Did you see it yet?
No,
you didn't like it.
No,
really?
I haven't seen it yet, and I haven't really like. There are a lot of other movies that are like higher up on my list because I've heard mixed things.
Yeah, what? No, it's definitely it's a long movie, 2.5 hours.
Oh God.
Okay, God, this has been so fun, and we're running out of time. But I got okay. Let's see here, Kardashians. We did that.
Traitors?
RHONY. Oh, well, okay. Let's do RHONY Bryn really quick.
RHONY.
Bryn, we finally got to see the first episode of the reunion. It's a 2-part reunion. Bryn is truly acting like nothing has. She comes in and Jess was like staring at her like she's a ghost and like acting like nothing happened. I'm so confused. And I'm just wanting to see the second part before I make like a declarative statement about how I feel. But Bryn seems to be living on another planet. And she's posting on Instagram like nothing's happening. Also,
carbon monoxide isn't on the periodic table.
That is true. That was brought up at the reunion.
So,
but by the way, that's a stolen line from a movie.
Yes, it's from a show or movie called Luckiest Girl Alive. It was based on a book, which I actually read, starring Mila Kunis is in the show or movie on Netflix.
Dame Mila Kunis.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing. It's just so embarrassing. Yeah, Bryn, she clearly didn't grasp the gravity of what had happened at all.
It feels lively coded. Like it feels like she's not understanding the reaction that people are having. And so she's just acting like everything's normal. So that's, I think, giving people like kind of creepy vibes on top of it. Cause there's like, how are you just acting like everything's normal?
It's creepy. And also her being like, my dress was $7,000 and I bought it. It's like, what? Okay. What do you, and then when they were like,
no way she's coming back. No way.
No way. What do you do for work, Bryn? And the
we
silence.
Still haven't got it fucking it. And then she goes, I do what you do to Sai. Because it's like so kind of an influencer related. And it's just kind of like, oh, whatever.
No, I think she was trying to say, I do your job for you. Like saying, I bring the drama to the show.
Okay.
Like saying, this is my job.
That makes way more sense.
But I mean, not for much longer, I assume.
I don't know. You never know with Bravo. They sometimes will go left when you think they'll go right, but I just don't know how she would fit. I don't know.
I think that she actually needs she needs help. Like, I think it would be irresponsible. Also, I think that, the stuff that she was saying and doing is actually really damaging. It's kind of like Monica Garcia, where it's like, I don't know that these women will feel safe or comfortable around her ever again. So that's where I stand on it. What did you think of that blind? There was was it Demois? It was something that was like, there is a RHONY cast member harboring a huge secret. If it comes out, it's gonna be. It
wasn't Demois. It was somewhere else. But it basically, I think they're trying to put it out that Bryn allegedly might be lying about her race. That was what everybody was saying. I want everybody to come. But that was all the shit I was reading. I don't think that is this at all. But they're trying to throw that out.
I was thinking that it's maybe that she's like a yacht girl or an escort.
But see, that's already been thrown out there. That's already been thrown out there.
That wouldn't be something that would be the biggest housewife scandal of all time. I definitely don't think she's lying about her race.
I think it's just somebody just trying to start shit. It's just like how they do all the fake little posts and it kind of goes viral.
Oh man, I got excited.
But who knows? Who knows? Okay, so the Traitors this week. What did you think of this week's episode of the Traitors?
I mean, chaos. And also, that I have been in deep with Survivor. So I am familiar with Boston Rob's game. And I was not surprised that he wormed his way out of that round table. He's
great.
Such a freaking master manipulator. I even believed what he was saying.
The straight face that he's able to keep. Yeah. And Wes, love Wes from the challenge.
Buried himself.
But yeah, that kind of aggression, he never kind of pivots from his actual aggressive stance in all these games. And he's fun and entertaining to watch, but Boston Rob is such a poker face, and he'll just tell you point blank these things, and he doesn't react strongly. He's very aware, but even when they're like, hey, I'm hearing your name and Wes's name, when Chrishell comes up to him, he goes, really? Like, there's no, like, you can't tell if he's happy or sad. He just plays it so cool, and he doesn't play it dumb. He doesn't play it genius. Like, you don't think either of those things. You just think he's like telling you the truth all the time.
I'm so sick of Chrishell being so loudly wrong.
Well, that was Robin at first.
This is really hard for me, but just your vibes.
It's always just like her vibes. Like, she's so bad at reading people. She's so annoying. I'm sorry. She's like my least favorite on the show right now. I'd be so happy if the Traitors are going to keep her around because she's so fucking dumb.
Well, but see, my thing was, like, I would have in some world liked to have seen Chrishell as a traitor, because I would have liked to have seen if she had any capabilities of that. Like, if she really is this saccharine sweet, or if there is this evil underside. The other thing is, I don't know this person personally, so I'm not speaking about them overall as a human being, but I think Danielle is one of the worst traitors in fucking history. That fucking hat she wore needs to be burned, on top of, like, what fucking game is she playing? I love Carolyn so much, and I actually am rooting for Carolyn, but I hope she made the right move by calling Danielle out at that round table. And did you notice how they didn't show any clips for next week's episode?
Yeah.
They were like, you're doing a face-to-face murder.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, well,
the traitors are going to murder somebody to their face.
Danielle, every decision that Danielle makes is the wrong decision. And
she talks to everybody that it's like, yes, this is person, you're going to everybody.
I know that she's been getting a lot of hate. I feel bad for all the hate she's been getting. I know that everyone's like, she's a horrible traitor. She's made it this far without getting, I don't think, any votes at the round table other than from Carolyn. I think. I could be wrong, but she's
but you said she's been getting a lot of hate. I want to also that's why when I talk about her, even when I do the recaps, I always say, I don't know this as a person. She's probably an amazing person. I hate how she's playing this game. Yeah. And by the way, but she's still great to watch, because you do need to hate those. Like, you need to hate certain people and how they're playing. It's a different way to watch that the traitors are just a bunch of mess. And Boston Rob is still able to, like, there's no way Boston Rob will go to the end. But then there's like this 5% chance every week he finds some way, because this guy is a champion. This guy is used to this. He's used to the pressure. Like, you kind of got to give it to Boston Rob a little bit, even though it's like the Chiefs. They're so winning that they've become the villain. He is a villain because he is so winning.
Yeah. Also, like, people just now discovering that Boston Rob, like, is hot.
Was hot. Yeah.
Was.
No, but like, when back in the day, like, I remember watching that season of Survivor live, and even a fairly straight man was like,
oh my God. Whoa. Wait, also, like, what was that scene with Tom Sandoval?
Can we just savor them? I'll tell you what it is exactly, Sophie. It's because Bob Harper, who fat shamed him the episode, he's gone. So he's like, he's eating nonstop now. He's eating his feelings.
He was hunched over the table, shoveling food into his mouth, like standing up. It was so weird. And then Gabby, who I love, Gabby walks in. She goes, ugh.
I know, but by the way, I asked, so Bergie does these recaps of, like, from the second season with me on the weekend, and I said, at lunchtime, do they not give you a place to sit? Because I was like, why is Sandoval just, he goes, no, there's chairs everywhere. Like, he just decided to stand there, and he was pigging out at the breakfast table too, and I don't know what is going on, but I will say, I've seen some things of, like, I feel bad, but I like Sandoval in this season of the Traitors. Yes, guys, like him. It's okay to laugh at Tom Sandoval. It's okay. But I will say it is getting to a point where I feel bad, because it's not even us laughing at him. The entire cast.
They're all so mean to him.
The entire cast. Like, even Derek goes at the round table, is like, hey, shut up. Hey, we got to get to real stuff. When he's trying to bring up Dolores, he's like, okay, enough of this shit. We got to get to real stuff. And Sandoval's like, dude, I have theories, dude. You don't know.
The round table is the only time that someone's been like, just like, no, like, shut up.
Dude, it was so sad.
We don't even want to hear you out. No.
But it's going to be him at the end. It's going to be him and Sam Ashgari at the end with Boston Rob. And Sandoval's like, dude, I know we're all faithful here, dude. It's on. And he's going to be eating while he's, like, doing the final ceremony. Like, they're going to bring him to the end, and I'm going to be here for it.
I have theories, dude. It's just,
I've picked up on some stuff.
Dolores goes, oh, just let him do it. She goes, I don't want you to be nervous, Tom, because none of it's going to make sense anyways.
Oh my God, it was
I just
so
feel like
good.
when they all have his number, I feel like you just start to go like, oh God, man. Like the only funnier thing that they could do is that they could add another traitor and it be Raquel Leviss, just to really rock Tom Sandoval's game even more. Like, Raquel, what, dude? Oh, dude, I have the galaxy light here.
I love the people that are like, I think Tom Sandoval like thinks this is all real. Like he thinks this is really like happening.
Part of him's still in Scotland. Part of him is in that castle. He left a part behind. Sophie, do you have like 5-10 more minutes? Are you good? Because we have a couple. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Traitors is firing on all cylinders. Even if it's not the best gameplay out there, it is still so entertaining to watch. And that and Salt Lake City makes me really happy. And really quickly, another show that makes me extremely happy. I would so much rather be diving, and I am diving into theories about this show than Lively and Baldoni. And that is Severance on Friday nights on Apple TV. I've now rewatched the episodes from the second season. The first season I've rewatched. Me and Rebecca, all we do is scroll on TikTok looking for Severance theories, and there are so many of them and so many hidden Easter eggs. Sophie, I saw that you follow some of the cast. You love it as much as I do, right?
Oh, you saw that I follow Mr. Milchick?
I did. I follow Mr. Milchick too. And you also follow the girl, I think, too. The one that works for Keir, the one that's like, thank you. The board is off the call.
Oh my God, she scares me so much. What's her name? Natalie?
I think so. She's fantastic.
I keep going to Mr. Milchick's Instagram because I'm like, he needs to have 1 million followers. Like,
this guy, the actor.
He's so good in the show. He's so attractive.
Dude, that dancing scene on the first season with the jazz and how he gets in there.
It's been a minute.
Oh, it's so good. He's so good.
Like, he's so good. There's something so like sinister about him. And it's also like, if you've ever worked in like a corporate setting, you kind of like can identify this person who's like the enforcer, but they also like always have like a smile on their face. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's so like eerily familiar.
And that moment, we're not giving away anything, but that moment when he gets the gift from Lumen with like the black version of, and there's like this moment of, it's just a beautifully subtle moment of like where he's going through something and he can't, it's just such a damn good show. And if you get into, it reminds me of when Lost, before they kind of started blowing it a little bit and then got good. It's so well thought out and it's so rich, but at the same time, I recommend it for everyone because I think once you get the kind of pacing and stuff, that you will fall in love with it too. Every performance from John Turturro to the man, like all of them are just Patricia Arquette they're all just amazing.
I have so many questions. After the last episode, I have more questions than answers.
Well,
like the goats. What's with the goats? What's with the scary people with the goats?
I've seen 3 more episodes than you have at this point. So I do not know the answers to the
Ryan,
goats.
we know. You already said that.
I've seen 6 episodes. There's 6 out of 10. But what's so great about the second season is that they provide you some answers, but then they provide like all these new questions that you have to figure out. And I'm so obsessed with Severance right now, and it's all I want to. I wish I just did a Severance podcast because I love it so damn much. If anybody that works on Severance is listening, please let me talk to you. I love it so much.
Wait,
does Henry like it?
Is there a Severance podcast? Yeah,
yes.
Henry loves it.
By the way, Ben Stiller and Adam Scott host the Severance podcast. I've been recommended this podcast from so many people, and I'm going to start listening to it this week. It's supposed to be excellent.
Wait, you know what's funny is that, Henry, if you're listening, turn it off. My ex-boyfriend works at that building in New Jersey, or he worked at that building in New Jersey at the time
the
when I was
Lumen
dating
building
him.
is a building in New Jersey that they use, a real building.
And it's my ex-boyfriend from years and years and years ago, obviously. And I remember...
Was there any overlap with you and Henry? Like Paige and overlap?
Okay. Is there overlap? No, first of all. Don't believe the rumors, you guys. But when I was dating him, I remember him saying that he saw Ben Stiller at work one day and he was scoping it out for Severance. Is that funny? Sorry, I just thought that was fun.
No, it is totally funny. But also there was a great theory. We won't get into it. We don't have time. But hopefully we'll do a Severance episode at some point once everybody's caught up. But there's just so many details and so many people having fun theories out there. And this is the part of pop culture that I love, when everybody's really excited about something. And it's not like, like Adam Scott fucked everybody on the set and we need to sue him. Like, I like something that you can just love,
I wish it was like, and I saw someone else, I can't take credit for this because I saw someone, I think, on Twitter say this. I wish it was like a Sunday night show. I feel like Sunday night has that like event television feel. I feel like, especially with like HBO, like White Lotus or like whatever the Sunday night show of the moment is, like Thursday night, everyone ends up watching it Friday anyway, because I prioritize the Traitors on Thursday nights. And then, so I watch it on Fridays, and then it's not like a live television event.
I totally agree with you, but like we said, like I think last week's episode or like Apple TV just does a really bad job at like promoting themselves as a streaming app. So it's hard to make an event television like Max does. Like coming up in February, like you'll have a night of White Lotus and the Baldwins on the same night. So Sunday night will be, Lotus Baldwins. But anyway,
it's like Barbenheimer.
Exactly. Severance, I just love it so fucking much. I wish I could do a whole podcast where I just talk about all my theories, but hopefully someday we will. And then finally, I want to just say the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. The final episode was tonight. Reunion starts next week. And the reunion actually looks really good. They have Karen's not there, but they have a video statement from Karen where she's like crying. And they have a framed photo of Karen Huger at the reunion. The reunion looks fun, sad. It looks really dynamic. So I highly recommend that. Make sure you DVR. And then also in
the portrait of Karen, she's like wearing the outfit like theme, which is, I guess, white metallic gowns.
Did you see? And then somebody says at the saying like there was a guy in the car with Karen when she crashed and he ran. And then somebody goes, "Oh, her boyfriend." Oh, damn.
It's not looking good for the Grand Dame.
They're postponing they postponed the Grand Dame sentencing because she's in rehab, so they agreed to postpone the sentencing because it was supposed to be January 29th. And then finally, Real Housewives of Atlanta had their new trailer for their new season come out. You have returning Portia Williams. Kenya obviously got let go this season, but you see her in the trailer. You also have Phaedra coming back for a couple of episodes, I think, but in Drew Sidora, but they mainly have a bunch of new characters so it's going to be an interesting season. It's really going to make or break on if we fall in love with these new characters. It's a big gamble because we love having Portia back, but it just, the preview, I don't know, it was like well done, the preview, but I don't know if it got me like there.
It's kind of like a reboot situation. So
we'll see. I'm going to see how they filter in Portia and all that stuff, but that's coming up as well. So much TV to watch. Sophie, Snarkbait. We've got more Baldoni Lively. What else do we, because I saw you had 2 parts on the Alex Cooper episode, right?
Yeah.
So has Alex Cooper annihilated you yet? Are you still?
No, she actually offered us a contract with the Unwell Network. Listen to our Alex Cooper 2-parter. We do a deep dive on her and Unwell and all of that. Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively episode is dropping tomorrow, where I feel like, there's just so much information. I know we spent like 20 minutes talking about it.
I know.
It's like, it would be a 3-4 hour episode, even longer than that, to mention everything, but we tried to keep it very top line. I think
my episode drops on Tuesday, and there's a good chance it might be 4 hours, you guys. So go listen to theirs. You have the time for theirs. Don't listen to mine. Go listen to theirs. But I'm just going to do it for the sake of my mental clarity because I did 4, almost 3 or 4 episodes, like at the end of the year, about Blake Lively's complaints, and I owe Justin, but I do want to get his side in there, and there is so much ridiculousness. I'll try to be as fair as possible, but that will be coming Tuesday. I'll be doing it solos, but I would say go listen to Snarkbait over this one.
I'm excited for Ryan's, you guys. I feel like I'm gonna learn.
See, now we're doing the Baldoni Lively circle jerk thing right now. I'm excited for Sophie's. That's what I'm excited for.
Your performance today was stunning, actually.
You are killing it on the podcast front. I mean, people are listening. It is changing lives, what you're doing.
I felt it the moment we walked into the room together. The first time.
Sophie, I've rewritten some of your opening comments at the top of Snarkbait, and I just think it would really fly if you and Christy would just go a different, and I will say I've known a lot of podcasters through the years, and they're my little Khaleesi's. I've got Danny and Ronnie.
I know. I was going to say, who are your dragons?
Yeah, my dragons out there. Candace Owens.
Candace Owens. My dragons are like Baxter and Henry.
Poor Henry, dude. Poor Henry.
I know, poor Henry, you guys. Poor Henry and Rebecca. Like, all we do is like talk about like Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. Like, why can't we be normal?
I know. And then, but actually, Lauren from Pop Apologist pointed this out on the episode. And she's like, because I was like, what? She was like, well, we are a little different than most people. Because I'm like, everybody's in it at the same level that I'm in it. And well, the Baldoni Lively, I'm not in it that much. But like when I talk about it so passionately, I think everybody's at that same level. And she had to point out, she's like, well, I think we're a little different than most people. And I was like, oh, that's good to remember. Because like, I think everybody knows everything. And then when they don't, I'm like, how do you not know this? This is crazy.
Right. Oh my God, that's always me. And then I'm like, oh yeah, you're like a normal person with like normal hobbies and like a life.
My best friend texted me today. He goes, hey, Baldoni Lively, 10 words. What's going on? Like he's like, just give me 10 words. And I think my 10 words to my best friend from high school was.
Yeah. How do you even start? 10 words.
I said 10 words. I said, both huge egos, Hollywood bullshit. Because he said, who's the monster? And I go, both huge egos, Hollywood bullshit, most likely Lively Reynolds. That was just 10 words. I was like,
wait, I think that was 9 even. Wow.
Yeah,
okay, that was good. Need the
10. Yeah,
that was good, and I think that's pretty accurate.
Most likely, but remember, there's more to come. So eventually Lively and Reynolds will have to fire back. Okay, Snarkbait, you guys, go subscribe. 5 stars. Thank you, Sophie. This has never worked. It's a lot of fun. And let's go watch what happens at the Grammys and if Taylor or Beyonce or whatever happens tonight. Hopefully it's just a fun time at the Grammys. F you, Kanye. Bye.
Bye.